Bitcoin and crypto markets are bleeding. The sweet smell of depression and time-based capitulation are in the air. People are fighting all over Twitter, and it's generally just the worst place to be. And that was totally predictable if you've ever taken a look at what happens to crypto in the summers during this part of the 4-year cycle. Yet we never learn a lesson, and we all seem to suffer horribly when the sell-offs happen. But there are plenty of things to be bullish about, plenty of catalysts coming up in the near future. You just need to zoom out and wait. I'm going to discuss all of this, all of the nonsense, with one of my favorite guests from the Tide, Josh Frank, and of course, Andrew from Arch Public on the back end. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. I'm not depressed. Are you depressed? People seem really depressed. It's miserable. I've literally deleted X from my phone. It was such a distraction. And then when the toxicity reaches a certain point, I just literally get rid of it. Don't read it. Don't care. Move on from my life. No social media. Go touch grass. Play with the kids. But man, I'm going to bring on Josh right now. There were some signals. There were some signals, right? I mean, in March, we were sending $30 million to Solana contracts from anonymous people and getting rug pulled, the meme coin casino, putting memes on the sphere. Should we be surprised that we are where we are right now in this cycle?
No, look, I mean, look, there was euphoria, right? And I would say there was temporary euphoria. But I think the important thing to note is that there was no new capital in the space. Right. And that's the number one most important thing to look out for. There was new capital flowing into Bitcoin with the ETF. Right. There have been significant inflows into the ETF, and that's great. And hopefully that continues. We obviously had our worst week for the ETF last week. But there was no new capital flowing into anything else. Right. Funds weren't raising more capital. Retail wasn't here. And so what you had was funds that had excess capital that had raised before, or others just redeploying and cycling their money. And then the market kind of moved up, and it moved up on the back of the Bitcoin ETF decision, but that hasn't flown into new capital moving into altcoins. And so to me, it's not surprising that we've seen a significant sell-off, but that doesn't mean that the market's not going to rally and recover later. And I think also, people in crypto, after the 2+ year prolonged painful bear market of FTX and BlockFi and Celsius and Voyager and all the other nonsense, have been eager for 100x gains, and we're ready to rotate at first opportunity to do that into memes. And look, the market's going to sell off, right? I mean, it was obviously not sustainable.
But this is exactly what's supposed to be happening right now in altcoins. You made the best point, which is that the money only flowed in through the Bitcoin spot ETFs. That money can't trickle down to altcoins. So we got way ahead of ourselves because of the ETFs, but everything else is doing what it would normally be doing, which is waiting for, fall 2020, fall 2024, fall 2016. Those are the times that things started to pick up. And then the big years were 2017, 2021. That would be 2025 when these things would happen. We're just early, and I think we got excited because of the ETFs and the capital flowing into Bitcoin, but there's really nothing new here in this cycle.
No, I mean, I don't think anything has changed, right? I mean, I think there's a new set of L1s and L2s, and unlike previous cycles, there's about 100 times more of them, which, I don't know if there's infinite demand for block space, right? I mean, I think this is a cycle of L1s and L2s at this point, right? I mean, if you look at anything outside of that, it's just not really a thing. I mean, there are obviously some tokens that have existed, but the majority of capital, and I think we talked about why it's flowing into L1s and L2s, just because for VCs, it's the only way that you can deploy money at scale into the space, and the only sustainable way to generate a return, which is something we've talked about before. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any real long-lasting narrative that we have right now that's going to work. But I do think there are exceptions to that are coming. One example of that, I know we spoke about it quite briefly before this call, is Gunzilla Games launching off the grid which I believe, Scott, you're an investor in. So out of
It's
disclosure,
like the thing I deploy. I haven't invested in many things this cycle, at least recently, and I don't talk about them ever here because people will say you're shilling stuff. But yeah, it's Gunzilla off the grid. It's the thing I even bought NFTs. It's the thing I'm the most heavily deployed in for this cycle, and I have very close friends who this is like their play for this year. Doesn't mean it'll work. Doesn't mean anyone should do anything, but that is what I have done. You are correct.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's important. Like, we've been talking about blockchain gaming for a while, and I think conceptually, it's a very cool idea. Gunzilla is, and I'm not the expert here, but my understanding is a AAA game studio built by folks that have built AAA real video games before, raised tens of millions of dollars, and is now available to be played. It's launched or it's in beta or something like that. And so
I think,
have heard really positive things for some folks that have played it. It looks cool. And I think, with blockchain gaming, it's been a narrative that's existed for a while. The problem is games like this take years and years and years to build. And now I think this year, from speaking to a bunch of different chains that have gaming on them, whether that be Avalanche, but also some of the gaming specific chains like Immutable or Oasis, a lot of them are planning to have their really big launch games come live in the next few months. And I think if they're real games with real users that have real applications of blockchain technology, I think that's something that's very exciting. I don't know if you have anything to add there, but
yeah, I mean, it's PlayStation, Xbox, mobile, literally everywhere. This is real gaming studio making a real game that's going to go extremely viral, most likely. People who've played it say it's insane that actually has blockchain elements. I've said gaming was too early last time because we just didn't have a AAA game. And we didn't have the real, studios interested in the blockchain side, and the people building on the blockchain side didn't know how to build a real game. So I think that this is a narrative of this cycle. Let's hope. But we've waited years, and we're getting real games now. We've had other games. When you and I were at Consensus last year, the booth right across from you was Shrapnel, and that game looks pretty sweet too.
yeah, and we've had other games too. We had what was that thing? Steppin'. I don't know if I count Steppin' as a game, but we had what was the game that everyone in the Philippines was playing for people?
Oh man, Axie Infinity.
Axie Infinity. We had Axie Infinity.
But it would be cool to have
games that people are playing not just for economic reasons, right? So
yeah, I was gonna say that was a proof of concept where people in a country like the Philippines can make more money playing a silly game, and literally 100 mobile phones on the wall. You would see these videos than their normal jobs, so they did it. But yes, I don't think that was sticky. It was just the monetary incentive. We can get some monetary incentive with a game that actually people want to play and get, I guess, somewhat addicted to. Here we go. But I want to talk about meme coins because you brought up this Trump coin. We're still doing the meme stupidity at the moment. That's what I think is pretty clear here. Can you kind of break that down for me? Because I'm so oblivious.
I don't think anybody really knows what's going on. So I don't think anybody knows what's going on. I have tried to follow this, but apparently there is a coin, a Trump coin that got launched, and there were rumors or speculation or conversation that this coin was actually launched by the Trump campaign. It was covered in Fox News and a bunch of traditional media outlets as well. The rumor was that Barron Trump was behind this coin. We've had Trump steaks, Trump vodka, Trump water. We've had lots of Trump things. So I don't know why not Trump coin, I guess. But the campaign hasn't commented on it yet. I don't think it seems real. There's a rug pull feature called Build the Wall built into the token. It's built on Solana. There's actually a poly market betting market on this. I see if I can. I think I have this up. Where people are betting on, is the coin real? And we're at $480,000 have been bet with a 25% chance that's people think
real, meaning actually created by the campaign.
Yeah, real being actually created by Trump's inner circle. This seems like a very high chance, 25%, but I don't know.
No way. I have a question here. Why are you always bashing memes? They are legit, Scott. The reason that I'm bashing memes is because everyone's losing money on them. Just because they went up doesn't mean anybody made anything. That's the problem. If you have no fundamental reason to be in things and you're calling it an investment, if you're not a professional who knows how to play that game of hot potato, and sell at the exact right moment and buy at the exact right moment. Let's be real. 90% of the people who have bought any of these things are still holding everything they bought right now and watching it bleed and have no idea what to do. I have nothing against memes. I just want people to realize that it's gambling. It's going to a casino and it's nothing more. If you know you're going to a casino, that's absolutely amazing for you. If you don't, and you think for some reason there's fundamental value or like your community, you're going to be a part of the community, ask the NFT, ask the Lazy Lions how their fucking community went, or whoever the hell turned up turtles and prestigious penguins. I don't know, man. None of that shit lasted because community in crypto is only as good as price. That's my problem. I have nothing against the memes. I have something against people who don't understand what they're buying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, I think it's you can make a lot of money on meme coins, but you can lose a lot of money on meme coins. It's the same thing as going to a casino, right? You can make a ton of money, you're more likely to lose a ton of money. I mean, I think that's fair, but I think meme coins are fun, right? And I think they're great. I think they're exciting. I think they're fun for people to get into. I think it's just a matter of being careful, right? Don't put more than you're willing to lose.
Yeah, I agree with that. People, I always kind of say, hey, just buy Bitcoin, whatever. And people are like, I'm not going to get rich on Bitcoin, dude. If that's your attitude coming into crypto, you are going to lose everything.
And I think it's also important to think about the long-term sustainability of the industry as well, right? Like these things are fun and they are culture and they're exciting and they're fun to get behind, but they also, all of these people losing money, people getting rugged, right? The problem is, for those of you listening, I mean, most of your listeners are deep into crypto and most of them
they get it.
Yeah, they've been here for a while, right? The problem is that your friend sees the meme coin or somebody else sees the meme coin, they lose money, and then that dissuades them from being in crypto. And again, for alts to go up, we need new capital to rotate into the sector. We need more money in the space. And so I think look, it's a trade-off between it is fun. And look, the reason crypto did well in 21 is it was a vice, right? Everything that was vices in low interest rate environments and during COVID did really well. Like gambling did really well, cigarettes did well, alcohol did well. Like
vices killed.
Vices killed it during COVID, and crypto was gambling. It is, and I think we should embrace that. I think that's part of it, right? But I think for the long term,
just know you're at the casino. You have to know you're at the casino, and we don't want to invite the new people to the casino. We want to invite them to the good parts.
Yeah, we want them. You want people to buy your bags and not lose all their money, right? So that they buy more of your bags in the future and they continue to buy your bags, right? We don't want temporary bag buying. We want long-term sustainable bag buying.
Do you guys know how casinos work? Like they want whales to come into the casino. They want them to win the first day, and then they comp you everything so that you stay and you lose everything, and you end up with a Bruno Mars level $40 million credit debt at the MGM that you'll be playing shows the rest of your life to pay off. Guys, this is the meme coin game right now is when you win money at blackjack and your first instinct is I'm going to take all that money and go put it on one number in roulette.
And maybe you'll get a free martini, which is your free.
At least you get free drinks there. I don't see meme coin people getting anything but losses. I am sure there are some people who have made great money in memes. Like I said, I'm all for the speculation. It's fun. You just need to know that you're speculating and just doing it for fun. But let's talk. Memes are not going to be, unless we get another Doge that's been around for years and gets embraced by Elon Musk. Doge onboarded millions of people to crypto, to be fair. So Doge itself did that. I don't think that's different. But gaming, what are the other catalysts? Which one of these narratives that we're seeing are real for this cycle?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few things that's real. I mean, one thing I was really excited to see was, I don't know if you saw the Paul Ryan op-ed that he published in the Wall Street Journal, which is crypto could stave off a U.S. debt crisis. That's a huge deal. Paul Ryan was obviously a bigger deal than he is today, but he is a figure of U.S. politics, right? He was the Speaker of the House, right? Yeah. And was almost in office, right? So, he basically wrote an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal that basically stablecoins are amazing because basically people are buying U.S. debt, right? Like treasury-backed stablecoins is literally like people in foreign markets buying U.S. debt, which is amazing. And thinking
treasuries.
Yeah, exactly. It's people buying treasuries, right? It's creating more and more demand for the US dollar. And that's an amazing thing. And it's creating reliance on the US dollar globally, which I never understood why people didn't understand. And I think we've probably talked about this before. Why
Paolo talks about it. He's like, Tether, Paolo, always, every time I have him on the show, he says Tether's hyper dollarization, not hyper Bitcoinization. It's hyper dollarization.
Right. It's great. And I mean, I think policymakers understanding that is huge. And Paul Ryan is a very important part of the Republican Party historically, right? And so I think him understanding that is a really big deal. And I think it's clear that more within the political landscape are coming around to crypto. We obviously had the SAB 121 vote where Chuck Schumer voted against Donald Trump, the most important person in the, not Joe Biden,
against Elizabeth Warren and the White House. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the most important, Democratic or person in the Democratic Party right now outside of Joe Biden voted against Joe Biden on SAB 121, right? I think that's a really big deal. And I think regardless of whether or not these folks actually understand what they're doing, that's a different question, and they understand what they're voting on. I think that hopefully will come, but the fact that they are moving in a more pro-crypto direction and that we've seen some of that happen, this needs to be bipartisan, right? This can't be a partisan issue. Look, it is a great thing if the next president, and I'm not making a political statement, but the next president, let's say theoretically Trump came into office, was super pro-crypto and did a ton to support the industry. I think he said he wanted all Bitcoins to be made in the USA, which is pretty funny on True Social.
Which in the USA, man. Made in the USA.
Made in the USA. Again. We're gonna build the best factories for Bitcoin. I think it's a great thing, but I think for the long-term health of crypto, this needs to be bipartisan, right? I mean, I think anything is better when it's bipartisan. And I think, why would you not want innovation to happen here? Right? Why would you not want wealth creation to happen here? Why wouldn't you want us to promote, to Paolo's point, hyper dollarization globally? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me why you wouldn't want to just support and nourish the industry. The industry is not going anywhere, right? At this point, it's very clear that crypto is here to stay. And if crypto is here to stay, why not embrace it? Why are you letting us lose to other countries that are pushing out more? I mean, the fact that US companies are considering moving to Abu Dhabi and Dubai and other jurisdictions is crazy to me. I mean, why not allow companies to operate in the US and have jobs be created in the US and pay tax dollars to the US? I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I just found a video from 7 weeks ago of you last time you were on our show that we clipped before Donald Trump became bullish. Literally while you were talking, I was remembering this that we clipped. I'm just going to play it really quick. This was before Donald Trump said anything about crypto, by the way. Anything possible.
Really bullish for crypto. Look, the election is coming up. It doesn't matter where you land on the political spectrum, but I think this election is certainly going to have an impact on the SEC. If Trump somehow picks Vivek as his running mate, which isn't going to happen, but if he does, or depending on who he puts as his running mate, depends on what he comes out and says. And if he starts to take a big lead, it could be really bullish for crypto. Really bullish. Yeah, boy. If the expectation is that the SEC is going to put forth regulation that is more pro-crypto.
I mean, you kind of nailed that one before he even came out and said anything.
I got absolutely fucking grilled by people in the comment section.
You're welcome.
There's no way Trump would say anything pro-crypto, by the way. So
yeah, I mean, listen, it was a big turnaround, but you kind of saw it coming regardless. But the fact that people were already saying, listen, anything but this administration, and then it actually became a real issue, pretty crazy that's happened since you said that only it was May 1st or something that you were on the show last.
Yeah, I don't know. You're making it sound like I know more than I know. It's like gambling on meme coins. If I say enough things, eventually I'll be right once, right? So,
have you taken a deep look at the Tether's new AUSDT here that's backed by gold? What I find interesting is not that there's a stable coin backed by gold. Okay, that's cool, but they've said that this is the first sort of product in a platform they're building for tokenizing real-world assets that will be launched later this year. Real-world assets has obviously been a huge narrative. We have BlackRock doing it. But if Tether launches a legitimate platform where you can tokenize real-world assets, that could be huge, even this narrative. I mean, even this cycle.
Yeah, the challenge with RWAs is it's a chicken and the egg problem, right? Like there's no liquidity And because there's no liquidity, no one wants to be an issuer. And if there are no good issuers, there's going to be no liquidity. This is a problem that's existed since RWAs were called security tokens years ago, right? And so RWAs are just rebranded security tokens. It didn't work when we called them security tokens, so we rebranded them as real world assets, right? I mean, it's the same players, it's the same marketplaces. It's the what is the overstock.com guys think? T0 is still around, Securitize is still around, right? And that's not to say that this isn't going to take over, but again, it's crypto, and this industry is very narrative driven, right? And so, if you look at the market cap of RWAs, it's still relatively small. I mean, by far the largest issuer is Figure Markets, which operates their own chain called Provenance. They have home equity lines of credit that they've tokenized, that they've issued themselves, right? HELOCs. But outside of that, I mean, it's still a small and nascent market, and I think it's still very theoretical at this point. And so we'll see. I mean, obviously, the tokenized treasuries is becoming a real thing, and it's becoming a bigger thing. The question is there demand for that outside of crypto, right? And
Right.
That's a real question. Is the demand?
Yeah, because you could just, if you're American, you could just buy the treasury. You don't need a tokenized treasury necessarily. That's
I mean,
an added layer of risk for the average person.
The question is, look, and I speak to a lot of banks and asset managers and others, and a lot of this is still proof of concept, right? And I think there are people that are excited about a lot of different things within the RWA space. And I think rightfully so, around things like settlement. Right? Settlement right now, just moved to T+1, but it took T+3 3 days for a trade to settle. A trade could settle on the blockchain, depending on the chain, in fractions of seconds, right? I mean, I think there's interesting things that can happen that blockchains can be used for. The question just is, what is who's the buyer is the question. And who's the buyer today? And I don't think that we know the answer to that question yet. I mean, there are a lot of proofs of concept. There are a lot of proofs of concept. You've seen them come out of big banks and asset managers and others, but when you actually go and speak to these folks, these are just proof of concepts right now. And so I think, again, it's just a matter of seeing one of these things really take hold and take shape, and somebody really putting their money where their mouth is.
Here's a comment for you. I want your opinion. It's all over. The billionaires controlled this market totally, and the poor man got tired of them pumping and dumping. My opinion. Is that an epic bottom signal, or is there some truth in that? Because a lot of people have said that the meme coin craze is because people don't want to buy VC bags, tokens backed by VCs, but we've just seen billions of dollars more raised in VC funding that's going to be deployed into this market.
Yeah, I think there's some of that is true, but other parts of that isn't true, right? At the end,
it's all over part is not true, in my opinion, to be clear.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at the 21 market, right? I mean, the U.S. stock market was being driven by retail, right? And so the fact that the U.S. equity markets can get driven by retail, and the fact that large funds were forced out of business that were shorting meme stocks, means that it's not just billionaires. And if you look at where a lot of this money comes from, at the end of the day, it's allocators putting money into funds. And who are allocators, right? Allocators can be Texas teachers, right? That's the pension plans of teachers, Ontario teachers, OMERS, Ontario Municipal Employee Retirement System, right? These are the allocators. GIC and Temasek, right, have made a lot of investments in crypto. That's the money of the people of Singapore, right? And so at the end of the day, a lot of the real capital in the space starts with allocators, and whose money is it behind the scenes? That's people's money, right? That's the Harvard endowment's money. That is the MIT. I'm not saying these specific. I mean, these are, I think, folks that have
state of Wisconsin, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, these are pensions, these are endowments, these are allocators. That's who's putting the money into the space. And yes, there are fund managers who are billionaires there, but at the end of the day, a lot of that money is owned by individuals and owned by people too. So I would keep that in mind. Obviously, look, a lot of the Bitcoin market right now, or a lot of the market more broadly, is also just being driven by high interest rates, right? I mean, we're in a high interest rate environment right now, and no one wants to put money into risk on assets right now, or not. What doesn't maybe not risk on, because the market overall is doing better. A lot of the market's doing better, especially Abercrombie, which is up like 500% this year, which is crazy. comeback of the century. Should have made a meme token for that. But I don't know. I mean, I think, look, like the Bitcoin ETF flows are obviously being driven by large funds. And I think the thing that people miss on the Bitcoin ETF flows are those large funds aren't necessarily long crypto. They might be hedging those positions, right? And just taking advantage of market inefficiencies that exist. So I do think Bitcoin more broadly, because of the size of the market, is being driven by larger players. But I don't think that's a bad thing, because they could come in with more money and bid up the market, right, in the long term. But that said, like most of these large funds, they're trading Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe Ethereum. And if they're trading Ethereum, it's usually CME futures. But outside of that, there's not enough liquidity for these big players or billionaires, or whatever you want to call them, to actually engage in the market, right? A lot of tokens, especially when you start going outside of the top 10 or 20 by market cap, just don't have enough volume, right? It's not worth it. Like imagine you have a $50 billion fund. It's not worth it for you to trade a token that you can only trade $5 million a day. It just doesn't move the P&L, the profit and loss of your fund. And so yes, Bitcoin might be being driven by larger players right now, and maybe Ethereum and maybe Solana. But outside of that, that's really not the case.
Yeah, I totally agree. Anything else you want to add before I let you go? I know we're up to time here.
I don't think so.
I think we nailed it. I think we totally nailed it. We each got little rants in there. It's perfect.
I don't know if there was any that didn't. I don't know if that flowed, guys. Any, but we tried.
This is what happens to you guys on my show. Sometimes you get to witness what two dudes who just talk about stuff even offline just get to witness us having a conversation. I don't know if that's entertaining or not, but if you see Josh and I in person, like sitting in a booth at a conference, we're usually
it's the same conversation. Nothing's different.
Same.
So Scott, before I leave, Trump coin, real or fake? What's your take?
Fake.
All right.
Fake. No.
If it's real, everyone in the comment section absolutely shit on Scott in the next video.
25% chance, according to
25% chance, according to 400 grand worth of betting.
Fuck my life. It's probably real now that I said that. Whatever, man. It's fake. Super fake. I have conviction in this one. What do you think? Come on. You have to give yours now.
I'm in the same boat. There's no way this thing could be real. I mean,
no way.
It would be funny as shit if it was real. The thing is, so much of American politics would just be funny if it was another country, but it's painful because it's our country.
Before I drop you off, I'm going to bring Andrew on. Real or fake?
Fake. Fake.
This is our transition between guests.
But it's a perfect meme coin fake, right? It's the pinnacle of the meme.
So good.
Meme coin.
I hope that the campaign never comments on it, and it's so ongoing.
Easy. Yeah, it's so easy to fake that. You just like create a fake social media account, you launch it, you start the rumor yourself, it goes massively viral, and you're done. You've made a ton of money. Easy. I bet Iggy Azalea is behind it.
If you guys see a Wolf of All Streets coin launch later today, it may or may not have been Scott.
No. Josh, you're out of here. Bye, Josh. Everybody follow Josh for more updates on my coin. Bye. But Andrew,
on your coin.
Oh, my life. What will be the next catalyst? You had an awesome tweet, so I just want to go ahead and bring this up before we start talking about anything else, because it's a nice segue. It is the topic, and you usually get the little notes under the door from your little birds. Update BlackRock sources and quotes on Bitcoin ETF growth and BTC price action. Quotes: expected this inflow velocity from the get-go. Demand will remain elevated. We expect the group of ETFs to surpass 100 billion AUM in 2025. That is sweet. That's like a tripling from here or so, probably. Surprised Bitcoin price isn't higher. We should see 100K early 2025. This is from BlackRock. Demand from largest investors has merely just begun. Okay, dive into that.
Yeah, so 3 different sources at BlackRock. One of them I would call adjacent to BlackRock, who's very close to their IBIT product. So not hard to follow that particular trail, but they're just remarkably bullish, and they should be, because of the inflows that they saw from the get-go. We're talking about they went from zero to taking over as the biggest Bitcoin fund on the planet in less than 4 months. They think that the velocity is going to continue, and the more noise that there is around crypto assets in the institutional and then wealth management world, they think that that's going to lead to more people defaulting to Bitcoin ETFs. In fact, that was probably the theme across all three sources, is this default narrative that there's going to be conversations, and as those conversations associated with inclusion into portfolios for whether it's institutions, whether it's family offices, and then it's just really rich people, that the default is going to be, okay, there's other stuff out there. I hear lots of noise. My kids are talking about it. So I'm just going to dip my toe in, and that toe is going to go into the Bitcoin ETF. And so that reality is going to mean that you're going to have inflows that will stay elevated, and a 2/3 push higher from, let's call it 30 billion plus, right? Actually, I think that we're closer to 50 billion in total that sit in the Bitcoin ETFs right now. And so, Q2 2025, that's not a stretch. They were genuinely surprised that Bitcoin wasn't higher from where it is now, principally because it's remained elevated near or at its all-time highs from the last cycle, over the last 90 days. I put up another post that shows over 24 hours, a week, 30 days, and 90 days, Bitcoin has effectively moved somewhere between 2 to 5% over that period of time. It's hilarious.
56 million. 56 million. You're right. That
was 56 billion. Yeah, 56 billion. So it's, getting to 100 is not, it's not necessarily even, it's not a significant.
You don't even need inflows. You just need a pump. So you add them together.
Right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. So if it goes to 100K, you're at 80 billion, very quickly anyways, just from the pump. The other thing that I didn't put in that tweet that was mentioned a few times is they think that there's going to be some shift from a little bit of outflows associated with the ETH ETF approval. There'll be movement out of what am I looking for here? The Berry ETH ETF. For some reason, I can't think of the stupid name of the company.
ETH.
Yeah, ETH. Yeah, right. ETH. Yeah, they're going to see
Ethereum, Andrew.
Yes. No. The stupid
the
Lion's
name
company.
This morning, or not
the
name
of the company. I need another cup of this, but they're going to see movement out of that product, and so there's going to be a portion of that movement that also goes into the Bitcoin ETFs and out of that product. So, there's another couple of conversations this morning. They think that over the next 6 to 12 months, that there'll probably be a 7 to 10 to 1 ratio of inflows into, quote, crypto ETFs is going to go into Bitcoin ETFs. So there's your catalyst right there. And again, because we're so myopic and short-term thinking in the crypto space, we get outside of ourselves and don't realize what a huge, paradigm shift this has been, and that paradigm shift has only just begun. I challenge anybody to go back and look at a 90-day period where Bitcoin effectively has moved 5.25% in the aggregate. That's impossible to go find. That is impossible to go find. And so that's where we're at today, that we've got, 30-day, 90-day, 1 week type periods where there's minimal movement. Like, we can freak out about, it's gone from 69 to 67 to 65, but that's not freaking out about that stuff. You can do that on crypto Twitter and maybe get a few likes on your post, but that's not the real world. It's just not the real world.
This guy Jets said it's his first cycle earlier. First bull run feels, I guess. Why sideways so damn long? Definitely concerned that it's over. I just want to show you something really quick. This is a chart I've had of what happens after each halving and during each halving. Here's the 2016 halving. Price was around $600 before it really broke back above that level. That was the halving in July. It took until basically December to break up and then go up. So that's your 6-month boring summer that we talk about every time. Halving 3, May 2020. So it happened in May. Look at this. Sideways, a little up, back to that level. Didn't break out until October. We all remember it was literally October 1st. It was like October. And it went absolutely nuts. That was 5 to 6 months of complete boredom. We are only in June. It was April. I said this literally when this was happening. I said, get ready for 6 months. I don't know.
You did.
Cycles
Yeah,
don't have
you
to
called
repeat.
it. You called it. You call it. So that guy's comment is typical of crypto Twitter. Why sideways for so long? It's been sideways for 45 days, 70 days.
I don't even remember what there's like a crazy stat on how many days like profits are actually made on Bitcoin versus its entire trading history, and it's a few parabolic days here and there, and the most of the price action is always choppy. I mean,
a guy who's great at that is Tom Lee at Fundstrat, and basically he's shown that since about 2013, there's between 8 to 10 days every year where Bitcoin basically skyrockets higher, and that's where you get your performance every year. Every year it's 8 to 10 days, and so think about that. Bitcoin doesn't shut down on the weekends like the rest, traditional markets. It's on 365 days. And so if you get 8 days of performance, like if you're not in it, you're toast, right? So yeah, enjoy the sideways, man. Enjoy the sideways.
Jeff comes on every show. He says, remember all that insane, I love you, Jeff. Most vowels in a last name in history. Remember all that insane ETF demand? Turns out it was simply GBTC rotation. Who knew? GBTC was 27 billion when the ETFs launched. We're at almost 60. So it's just not true. I know price is higher, but that's just not true.
Yeah, it's just not rotation. And in fact, GBTC still has, 18 billion, 19 billion in aggregate still in their fund, right? So if it was just that rotation, then BlackRock would only have $10 billion in their fund. They've got 22. So, decent point, but just not factually correct. Just
fun though. Okay, so listen, we know now you've talked about BlackRock. Obviously, they're extremely bullish. I found it most interesting that this was totally on par with their expectations. So nothing strange here. I love that. And we know that all these platforms and institutions are still yet to unlock, doing due diligence. I'm not worried at all. This is exactly we're existing through my base case at the moment. Everything generally above 60, super fine. Anything below 74, super boring.
Well, but, you said for a long time that we'd range through summer. Something that I've said for a long time is that we're if we sit in the 60s for this time period, just like you shown on that chart, September, October, I just don't that there is no, and this is the thing that I've said the most. I don't see any meaningful catalyst for downside for Bitcoin. I just don't see it. I don't know where.
Unless the macro goes to complete shit, but imagine that in front of an election, right?
Right.
And that would be temporary.
That would
be a buying opportunity.
The regime, so to speak, would immediately start to cut rates, and we know what that does to Bitcoin price, right? It's very hard. We're talking about apocalypse type stuff for meaningful downside, right? So buy Bitcoin. I don't know how many times I
Okay, well, let's talk about Arch Public, which allows you to take your profits and buy some Bitcoin. I know there were 2 trades. One was small downside, and one was over 5% to the upside. So
for us, we think risk management is a big part of performance, right? So our stop losses in every one of our algorithms are set at 2% of the position that you're taking at the time. So we get questions all the time about, well, I just want to be sure that I'm not going to wake up, because in crypto, I wake up and I've got, I've lost 40% of my money. Like, that's not going to ever happen here. That will never happen with our firm because we have 2% stop losses on all of our algorithms. So you're protected in a meaningful way. And what that does is that also maximizes performance, because if your downs are a third significantly less than your upside, then that means you have a 3-to-1 return on any upside positions that we take. So that's what profit factor means, winning trades percentage. The math is the math, and that's what we continue to kind of pound the table on. If we've evaluated risk in a way and been able to algorithmically put into our products the ability to save capital so that when there is a positive trade, you get a 3-to-1 upside, the math speaks for itself. And you have fantastic months like we did in May to the tune of 12.6%. So another point that I'd like to make is we just announced yesterday that we are releasing a new NASDAQ algorithm that's coming to market. And I want to make it clear that people that are in our concierge program, they get these quote unquote for free. So we add new algorithms that are coming to market as a portfolio enhancement for those people that are already in that program. And this particular algorithm has a 72% profitable trades winning rate. That's insane. Like, that is an insane number. In this particular algorithm, we bought an algorithm company, a development company out of the UK several years ago, and they've been working on this particular one and using it for like 24 years. So unique product, incredible percentage of winning profitable trades, and we're going to add it to people's portfolios at no extra cost, and that's just part of working with the Arch Public. We treat people really, really well.
Anything else I might have missed before I let you go?
No, other than
oh wait, I gotta actually bring it up on the screen so they know what the hell. I take for granted that everybody knows exactly what we're talking about all the time because they're here every week. But there are new people. It's in the description, guys. But obviously, this is I'm fully behind this. We've been running a portfolio here very publicly, but thearchpublic.com. Incredible algorithm.
Yeah, it's the other thing too that we find, and we just put out a customer review video that people can go take a look at on our website. It's one of our customers, kind of talking directly to the camera. Service is so important to us. Having relationships with our customers, answering questions very, very quickly. We have an entire staff that's dedicated to returning emails, returning phone calls, and returning requests very, very quickly. And people give us really high marks for being there and ready with questions and available to them at a moment's notice.
Yeah, absolutely love that. We've heard obviously very favorable things. And when we've gotten even slight criticism, I just tell you and you go reach right out to the person.
Yeah, you know what? We had a guy in a stream, a couple of weeks ago say, "Oh, the service isn't great." And frankly, that guy he wasn't a subscriber at the time. He had just asked us a couple questions. We jumped on it, and in about 2 days, he became a subscriber. So, you're going to get a guy with a funny looking hair and pissed off about something every once in a while when you get hundreds and hundreds of customers.
Hey, Jeff says he's on the site and can't see that video. You had tweeted
the customer video is about halfway down the site. Yeah, go to thearchpublic.com. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm not even showing my screen. Now I love this. Get the guide. I prefer being mediocre. I'm going to prefer being mediocre for the moment. It's this one, right?
So there he is. Our guy, James Norton. James, his story real quickly, he signed up for the gateway. Then 2 days later, he's like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go for the concierge program. He made $24,000 3 days later. He's like, you know what? I think I'll go for the tier 2 concierge program now. So proof is in the pudding. He moved through our system and it was trading significant capital within a week of being involved with our firm.
Yeah, perfect. There you go.
There we go.
All right, that's the answers, guys. Follow, obviously, Andrew. This is, once again, it's not an affiliate link or anything. It's just thearchpublic.com.
Yep.
Simple, easy. Check them out. If this is for you, you can actually get on a call with Andrew and Tillman and these guys and talk it through. And see if it's right for you. Like, not everything's right for everyone, but if you're interested in trading and you're interested in passively making some money, good a shot as any.
Fantastic.
And Andrew has an incredible beard.
You.
And you have an incredible beard. Your beard looks great, man.
It awesome. It plays. The beard plays. I gotta be honest. I'm a single guy in my 40s. I'll just leave it there. The beard plays. Okay. It does.
Grow a beard. That's all we got for you guys. That's the alpha. We told you a whole bunch of garbage today, but grow a beard if you're in your 40s.
Yeah. Serious alpha.
Single. My wife doesn't love it, but I get away with some scruff. All right, guys, that's all we got for you today. Andrew, I'm sure I'll probably see you on Spaces in 30 minutes anyways. 40 minutes, as usual. Yeah. But otherwise, obviously, Andrew will be back next Tuesday, and I'll be back tomorrow, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I know the market is boring and choppy. We appreciate that you guys still show up to listen to us banter. Really appreciate it. Awesome. That's all we got.
Later. Everybody.
Bye.
Let's go.